Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Good, good. Um, Today we're heading way back, ancient China, military tactics.
Ooh, fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to think about, like, how did infantry, I guess, yeah, these guys on foot,
Right, yes.
how'd they even stand a chance against, like, charging chariots? I mean, can you imagine?
The thunder of hooves, the dust, the sheer speed of it. It's a classic clash,
Yeah.
The underdog versus this seemingly unstoppable force.
Exactly. I mean, it's a question that's puzzled probably military minds for centuries. And to get some answers, we're going right to the source, the art of war.
Ah, Master Taigong. Now we're talking.
Yeah, and this wasn't just some, armchair general. This guy was like a legendary strategist. I mean, people still study his stuff today.
Absolutely. It's more than just like a battle manual. The art of war is like a deep dive into strategy and planning. You see these principles play out everywhere, even today.
So true. Okay, so picture this, right? You're King Wu, powerful ruler in ancient China.
Okay, I'm King Wu. Lay it on me.
You've got this enemy, right? And they're about to attack.
Yeah.
But they've got chariots, they've got cavalry. I mean, unstoppable, right?
Sounds like a nightmare. How do you fight that?
Right, exactly. That's what King Wu is thinking. So he calls on his, secret weapon, right? Jiang Taigong, the brilliant strategist.
Ah, the wise man on the hill.
He basically says, look, how do we even fight this? What do we do? Help!
And Taigong, what does he say? Does he pull out some, crazy ancient Chinese super weapon?
Nope. No super weapon. Instead, he looks at the battlefield.
The battlefield itself. What do you mean?
He's talking terrain.
Terrain. Really? Okay, I'm listening.
He's telling King Wu, look, find the hills, the forests, anything rough, slow those chariots and horses down.
Genius.
Yeah.
You're not matching their strength, you're taking away their advantage.
Right. It's like you're making the environment, the land itself, part of your strategy.
It's like turning it into an obstacle course. But for your enemy, of course.
Exactly. So, first piece of advice, use the environment to your advantage. What else does Taigong have up his sleeve?
Well, next he gets into weapons. Specifically where to put them.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me about this.
So picture this. You got your front line, right? And they've got long spears, powerful crossbows.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine that'd be terrifying if you're charging on a chariot.
Right. Disrupt that charge before they get any momentum going.
Makes sense.
But that's not all. Further back, you got guys with shorter weapons, swords, axes, ready for close combat.
So if the enemy gets through that first line.
Exactly. And even further back, archers. Supporting fire, picking off stragglers.
So you've got this, a system, a layered defense.
Exactly. It's about resilience, about being able to withstand pressure from all sides.
It's making me think, though, I always thought ancient warfare was just kind of like two armies smash into each other, done.
Ah, not so simple. Taigong knew battles were always changing, so he says use wave attacks.
Wave attacks. What are we talking about? Like the ocean?
Well, kinda. Imagine some soldiers attack, pushing forward like a wave, but then other units hold back, ready to support or counterattack.
Ah, so you're keeping the enemy guessing, off balance.
Exactly. You control the pace they have to react to. Brilliant.
So we're seeing this pattern, right? It's not brute force, it's strategy, using what you have.
Thinking ahead, for sure. But then King Wu throws him a curveball.
Oh no, what now?
He says, what if there is no good terrain? What if the enemy is huge EE and they're coming from all sides?
Oh, that is a nightmare scenario.
It is. And this is where Taigong's real genius comes out. He's got some really clever defenses up his sleeve, really surprising stuff.
So we're talking no good terrain, enemies closing in from all sides. What does Taigong suggest?
Okay. First, he says build these things called Singma.
Singma? What in the world is that?
Imagine these big spiked walls, but the infantry can move them around.
So not like a wall. More like mobile barriers.
Yeah. Kind of like directing traffic, but with, deadly consequences.
Okay, I'm starting to see it. So the enemy's trying to charge, but boom, wall of spikes.
Right. Disrupts their charge, forces them into, bad positions. But that's not all. Taigong throws in another element. Mujili.
Okay, now you're just making up words. What is Mujili?
Think, ancient caltrops.
Caltrops, okay, those nasty little spikes.
Yep, designed to, mess up horses and chariots.
Ouch, yeah. Imagine you're charging full speed and suddenly...
Wheels jammed, chariots going down, total chaos.
That's brutal. But effective, I guess.
Very effective. And it gets even better. He then says to dig trenches.
Trenches? Like in the ground?
Yep. A whole network of them around their position, calls it a life-saving enclosure.
Okay, yeah, I can see why. It's like you're forcing the enemy into these narrow passages.
Exactly. Slow them down, expose them to attack. It's another layer of defense.
Taigong is seriously a master strategist.
Yeah.
But remember, the enemy's still coming from every direction, right?
Right. So he says, organize your troops into a special formation, the four-directional assault formation.
Okay, that sounds pretty epic just from the name. But how does it actually work?
It's all about flexibility, being able to respond to an attack from any direction, shift units around, keep the enemy from overwhelming any one side.
So you're constantly adapting, responding to the changing battlefield.
Exactly. You're a chameleon. Now, here's where it gets kind of wild. Taigong says use cattle and horses in the formation.
Wait, what? Animals, like on the front lines.
Sounds crazy, but think about it. Cattle, they can be a physical barrier, right? Disrupt charges. And horses, quick counterattacks, exploit any weaknesses in the enemy line.
Wow, so you're not just using the land, you're using animals too. It's like this whole ecosystem of defense.
Exactly. But here's the final piece, and it's maybe the most important. Taigong says, fight like hell, never retreat.
So it's not just the physical stuff, it's the mental game too, huh?
Absolutely. Determination, courage, that's what makes it all work, even when the odds are against you.
We've got this amazing layered defense using terrain, weapons, animals even, but it all comes down to the will to fight.
Exactly. And that's what's so amazing about Taigong. He's thinking on multiple levels, showing how strategy isn't just about brute force, it's about using everything you've got.
And what's even more amazing is how much of this is still relevant today.
Right. Think about modern armies, air power, ground troops, technology. It's all about creating a multi-layered defense, making it almost impossible for the enemy to win.
And that idea of being adaptable, responding to change, that's crucial now more than ever.
Absolutely. And I think what I really took away from Taigong is this: even when it seems impossible, there's always a way. Use your resources, be creative, and never give up.
That's a powerful message. And it's not just about war, it's about life, right?
Exactly. All right, so we've just covered a lot: ancient Chinese tactics, Master Taigong's genius. What really stands out for you?
I mean, Taigong was just, wow, such a brilliant mind. What's the biggest takeaway for you from all this?
I think it's that he really flips the script on how you approach a problem. Like, he doesn't tell King Wu, go build a bigger army, get better weapons. It's all about strategy, being smart about it.
Yeah, it's like he's saying, work smarter, not harder. But like centuries ago.
Right, and that whole thing with terrain, that just blew me away. He's literally using the battlefield as a weapon.
Yeah, that's such a good point. It's that saying, right? Play the hand you're dealt, or something like that.
Exactly, and it makes you think, right? Like, what are we overlooking in our own lives? What resources are we not using to their full potential?
Totally. It's so easy to get fixated on, like, oh, I wish I had this, or if only I had that, instead of being creative with what we've already got.
And you know what else? That layered defense thing, that's huge. And not just for, like, armies.
Yeah, that really hit home for me, too. It's like, okay, yeah, strong foundation is important, but you got to have those backup systems in place, those extra layers of protection.
Think about, like, cybersecurity, firewalls, antivirus, training your people. It's all layers, yeah.
Or even just, in your own life, building resilience. It's about having a good support system, friends, family, healthy habits.
It's like building a fortress, but for your well-being, so you can weather any storm,
That's a great analogy. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the art of war, I want to leave everyone with this question. How can we use these ancient ideas today? Like not just for military stuff, but for our everyday challenges?
Yeah, that's a great question to think about. Because Taigong's wisdom, it really does go way beyond just the battlefield. It's about human nature, about conflict, about strategy in every sense of the word.
So true. And, even though we're at the end of our deep dive, it's just the beginning of our own exploration, right? There's so much more to learn and apply from these ancient ideas.
Couldn't agree more. The past has so much to teach us, if we're willing to listen.
Well said. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time.